Howdy all, welcome back to Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright. I, today is actually gonna, ooh. This looks like a bunker. It's a bunker. Oh, it's a zombie. Hey buddy. I just want to see what's in your bunker. You don't want me to see what's in your bunker? That was just a weirdly placed plate. I don't think I've got to search a bunker. Oh, you know what? I should unload my inventory here before I head down. There might be some good stuff down there, and I'm probably going to want to hit the control panels for stuffs. Alright, let's just go ahead and... Will you just get over there? Unload so... Oh yeah, let's add that to the list here. Oh, I don't want to get on. I think that's just my normal things that I keep on me. It looks like, yes. Alright. Okay. So, yeah, today is D&D. Today is 7 Days to Die day for me. Assuming the gaming group doesn't change the game we're playing tonight. Let's record. I forget. This is, I think it's a lot faster to go through this door than it is through the walls. Yes, because they're like, yeah. It's like 9,000 to get through a cement wall. So you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, it's 6,000 to get in there. That's not as bad as going through this door that's 5,000. No, it's really 18,000 to get through the cement. As I discovered while playing with my gaming group last week. I been trying, and I don't understand how it works, but I've been trying to build a pool, and the water physics in this game are bizarre. And so it's difficult to ever determine what exactly is supposed to be happening with the water and where I place it. And then on top of that, it's a fairly sizable pool. And so it's going to take a lot of water to fill this thing up. And so we built our base on a water tower. And then there's a water tower next to us. I have drained both of those of water, placing them in the pool. And then there's a lake nearby, so I've been running out to the lake over and over to fill up buckets full of water. But then we had a horde fall into the pool, and a bunch of them died in there. And when they die in there, they take up the space where the water's at. And so now I've got to replace all the water that was destroyed by the horde. So yeah, it's pain. It's pain. But yep, I was well, I just got done with work. But I just played another game of Frostpunk. I love that game so much. I actually over the weekend hunted down a list of games people thought were like Frostpunk, and you know, none of them were. None of them were. None of them scratch that exact itch. Although their billions came pretty close. I feel like I'm missing something with their billions. And I'm wondering if I'm not supposed to be sending out my soldiers to kill off the zombies, because that's what their billions is about, I think. Honestly, there's like no tutorial or anything like that in the game, and I didn't go to any website to try and read what it was about. But so I got that, and I know my first gameplay I failed within minutes, and it wasn't even the zombies that killed me. It was the fact that I didn't understand how the game worked, and I still don't really understand how the game works. But it's kind of like a base builder. And it's got, which is what Frostpunk is, so that's a big plus for me, because that's what I was looking for. And so you start with 4 rangers, which move fast, but use a bow and arrow, so they're slow to attack. And then you also start with 1 soldier, who's like middle of that. Medium attack, medium speed. Now, I haven't looked at like stats or anything, so I don't know how the damage of a ranger compares to the damage of a soldier. I just know soldiers seem to attack faster. You know, I expected this place to have another whole section back in here. This one doesn't have one of those. It's a small bunker. But hey, it's a bunker. We were just talking about this the other day. I hadn't seen a bunker in forever. And now I have looted one. Yeah, so you start with a house, a mansion. I honestly don't know what that first building's even called. Your command center, I guess. It looks to me like a large house. But then you build actual houses, so it might be a fortress? 'Cause it's quite a bit larger than most of the other buildings. And, so... Ooh, I'm gonna go over here. And so, it's a resource management game, you know, building game, and so you've got power, wood, food, stone, workers, iron, and oil. There might be something else, but I just made it to where I need oil, but I didn't actually get an oil rig, I think it was called, down. I died before that happened. My biggest problem with the game, though, is that you are locked into a style of map until you beat that first map. And I don't like the style of the first map at all. It's very narrow ravines, and all your buildings take up so much space, and so it's hard to build there, because you have to keep pushing out farther and farther, and so you find a little spot, or they start you. You don't get to pick your starting spot, and then maybe your starting spot is great. Like, I had this great starting spot a couple of games ago where I was surrounded by cliffs and forest, which the zombies don't come through, and there was only like one way into my base, and I'm like, this is perfect. Only it wasn't perfect because it takes so many workers to do anything that you have to keep building houses, more and more and more and more houses, and the more houses you have, the more food you need. But of course, the getting food is ridiculously not hard, but it takes a lot of space. Once again, like the little harvest buildings, they they have a space around them that they will affect, and so like when you need stone, you have to build a quarry, and so you have to put the quarry next to a patch of stone on the ground, and you can't put the quarry on the stone. You have to put it next to the stone, and so you're trying to find the best angle to get the most stone per generation cycle, I guess. And because there aren't turns, it's real time, but there is a time, you know, it's not constantly producing stone. It's, you know, maybe it'll produce 12 stone every generation tick, and so you know, and then I didn't. One of my early issues was resources don't tell you what they are, and so having never played the game before, I had no idea what I was looking at. And the what I thought was a field, because it really looked to me like a field of flowers. Like, I'm like, what kind of ugly plant do you have in this game as your plants for this farm? But no, I misread what farms do, and so farms actually just go on grass, just grass. There's nothing special about them, but they have to have grass, and the ground is not completely covered in grass or anything, and so you have to look around for a spot where you can drop your farm. And so what I was looking at was iron. And so I had been searching for where to find iron, and failed, obviously, because I thought I was looking at plants. And when I realized it was iron, it was outside of the walls I had built to protect my base, and the zombie horde overran me before I could push my way out to where the iron was at. So, this is a weird-looking little smash-down place. It's like this town has been destroyed. And so it was you know, my last run I did better, but the a horde came, a huge horde, and I haven't figured out how to hold them off yet, and so it causes me serious issue because I don't know how to fight the zombies. And so I got overwhelmed. There was nothing I could do. There is no, I guess here, if I want to stay someplace for the night. I don't want to stay here for the night though. I want to find a better place to loot. But when you're looking at the game, you know, looking at the map or playing the game, whatever, when it starts out, the zombies are like individual little dudes on the map. I haven't looked close to see if they have genders or anything, if they're all just zombies. They're different size zombies. I saw a couple different size, like big zombies come out, but beyond that, I haven't paid that much attention, I guess, to what was going on. I was more watching the resources build up so I could build the next thing, and so as it progressed, you know, every once in a while a horde would come. Well, a horde is like a clump of zombies. It's different than the individual zombies because I can fight those guys off. But a horde is like dozens of zombies all in the same space. And so when they would hit like a tower that I had soldiers in, or they would hit. I'm really surprised this hasn't hit radioactive land. I find it weird that it's going south. Remember, because I'm not on a road I've already been on, right? I am on a road I've already been on. Dang it. Yeah, there are no places to the west here. I guess we're just gonna follow this south then and take it back to the east. We'll have to pick a new direction. Although, did that look like it was just plain ground here? I'm just gonna head to the east. We'll see if we can cut across country. Or west. West is the direction I'm choosing. That looks like a road over there. Let's over here and see if this is a road. Maybe I can sneak through on that. So, you know, the big issue for me with I keep saying that. One of the issues I ran into was the worker thing. And so you put down a tent, because that's what you have to start with. And nope. I can't get through here. I can get through over there, though. No. Can we not die by you driving off a cliff? So you put down a tent, you only get like 2 workers. But a tent takes up 4 squares on the map. And like I said, the map is pretty narrow, and so a building might take 20 workers. Well, that's 10 tents. That's 40 squares worth of space. And so you have to keep pushing out farther and farther as the game goes. I'm like, maybe that's the point, but every soldier is a worker. And so you only get 2 soldiers per tent. And that's only after you've built up all the other stuff. And then each tent takes 4 food. Because there's 4 people, I guess, in a tent. Even though only 2 of them are workers somehow. And so then you gotta have place for food. Well, when you start out, you've only got hunters, cabins, and fisheries. And they both take up a lot of space. Not building space, because they're each only 1 square, but they have their resource collection space around them, and you can't put 2 buildings inside the same resource space that are collecting the same resource. And so you got that little forest that you're harvesting your wood from. You can put down 1 hunter spot, and that's it. And it doesn't help to like space them apart, because it calculates how much resource it gathers based on how many squares are covered by its ability. And so you might be able to put two hunters' places on the same woods, but you're going to get the same amount as if you just stuck that hunter's place right in the middle. And once again, it can't go in the forest. It has to go on the edge of the forest, so you can't stick it in the middle of the forest. But yeah, it's an interesting game. It's I wouldn't say it's exactly like Frostpunk, but it's close. It plays differently, but I was finding it mildly enjoyable, not as much as I like Frostpunk. I think part of the problem I'm having finding another game like Frostpunk is that I love Frostpunk. But yeah, my last playthrough on their Billions, I actually had a pretty decent city going. But like I said, I don't understand how to fight against the Horde, because there's so many of them, and your guys are so slow at killing a zombie that they break down everything you've got. I did not have defensive towers in place, Mostly because that also takes a lot of resources I didn't currently have available. What is that? That says it's a motorcycle. Oh, that's my broken motorcycle that I couldn't get back. Right. I kind of want to push all the way north until I hit the red. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start heading north until I hit red. And, so, so you've got fish, the fishery, which has to go against water and takes up a lot of resource gathering space. So I really have only been able to get like 2 fisheries on a water area on the map, and the hunters thing is about the same, but there's a lot more forest that I could usually reach than the fishery, and they don't provide a lot of food, like 18 food, 12 food, you know, and so 12 food's only three tents. That's only 6 workers, and you know I need 20 workers. So eventually you can build the I don't remember exactly what it's called. It's like the wood workshop, and it allows you to research things. And so there's like tech trees. There's 3 tech trees, I think. So the first one is wood, and that one lets you add sniper. And the farm is nice. It produces a lot of food, but it has to go in grass. And so let's, you know, and it can be hard to find a spot where there's grass that you haven't had to build on because you need so many workers. But it also lets you upgrade your tents into houses, or cottages. Cottages, I think they're called. But then they take power, and so then you have to build a power system. Oh, and everything has to be on the power grid. And so you have to keep putting down Tesla towers. Each one takes 1 worker, but it extends the space that you can build on with your map. You can't build anywhere you don't have within the space of a Tesla tower. And that includes defenses that don't take power. I don't understand that one. Because the first defense you get when you build your wooden workshop is wood spikes. And so you can put those down on the map. And you get wood walls, so you put those down, and then put wood towers down. And then I put soldiers in my wood towers. And then that worked pretty good against the first few hordes that come. And then I got spikes down, and I put a lot of spikes, like 6 deep spikes, and that seemed to be working pretty good. So I don't quite understand why I suddenly died, because they walked right through my spike field, and then they tore down my stone walls, and then they destroyed my stone tower, and even though I had like 16 or yeah, I think it was about 16 soldiers over there, soldiers and snipers. They didn't care. The horde never broke apart. It just overwhelmed me. One of the cool things I like, which really sucks, is they have an infection mechanic. And so if the zombies break a building, then the workers in the building become zombies. And so I thought that was pretty cool. Although it does lead to death, because once they start breaking your buildings and your workers turn into, or not just workers, because they break houses and the people in the houses turn into zombies as well. But once that starts happening, oh, my road ran out. It's hard to stop the cascade. I did it once, but I totally got overwhelmed on another map because they broke through the wall and passed all my soldiers into the houses, and then they destroyed all the houses, and You know, or just overwhelmed me. But yeah, so once you get the wood workshop, you can research the stone workshop. I don't know if that's what it's called. And then that, I don't think that one grants you any new soldier types. Um, and it had a couple of upgrades. Well, it was mostly just upgrades, if I remember right. And I think your first attack tower, a tower that doesn't require soldiers to attack, which is a ballista. You know, it's fairly standard RTS, shoots out a big arrow. You know, pretty slow to attack. The next upgrade for the tech tree, though, was the foundry, and that's when you get into the Iron Age, I guess. And that one was gonna be cool had I survived, and I didn't survive. So, but what happened was I needed oil, and I didn't have any oil pools because I didn't know what they were. I didn't know. They just looked like steaming pools of water. And I'm like, well, I don't need steaming pools of water. And then I realized, oh, those are probably oil pools, even though they're not black. So it was, yeah, I didn't get the mechs. Mechs are the other tier. I thought that would have been cool. I was like, oh, here we go. I've fought off the hordes that have come so far. I'm only about halfway through the days that you're allotted, and as soon as I get this oil pool going, I can start making mechs, and then I'm gonna go hunting zombies. That was my plan, and so I was fighting the zombies and pushing out my walls farther and building defenses. And I built these new towers I had unlocked, shock towers. I never even got to see one work. I had 3 up, and they attacked from a direction that wasn't one of those 3. And you usually get a warning that a horde's coming, and they never gave me a warning. So I don't know what happened there. But you know, a warning might have been nice. You know, some fuel might be nice too. But yeah, there was no warning. Just all of a sudden they're like, your defenses are under attack, and I'm like, what? And sometimes they just wander in, and that's not a big deal. And I got over to my guys, and there was just this giant horde, biggest horde I'd seen yet, all just smashed up against my wall. And I emptied my other towers and sent all my soldiers over there to try and fight back, and it didn't happen. They smashed me good. You know, I thought about stopping here, but then I realized I haven't put down a mat in a while. I probably don't want to stop anywhere that's going to require me to fight zombies. But yeah, it's a fun little game. Maybe if I can figure out the trick to balancing everything. There's a lot to balance. Yeah, I had power stations and farms for food. Power stations are interesting in that your power before that is a mill, but only produces a little bit of power, and so it's hard to have the workers to power a mill when the power is then required by the buildings that house the workers to get enough extra power to actually start anything. And so you end up with the power stations, and they produce like 150 power, but they take away 10 of your wood per generation. And you know, I've only got a couple of forests within my base range. I'm only producing like 29 wood, I think, when I started, and so 150 power sounds like a lot, but when each house takes 8 power and only produces like 6 6 workers at that point. It wasn't a lot. And so, yeah, it's a tricky game for sure. I still like Frostpunk better, but I also like the zombie aspect to that game. Frostpunk doesn't have any enemies besides the weather, and although that's enemy enough for me, I guess. I just failed the game that I was playing, so Frostpunk's got built-in a built-in system for I should make a bed roll, save my spot here before I get killed off. It's got a built-in system of morale, I guess you'd call it, and so the morale of my people had fallen, and you only got 2 days to build back up hope, and I did not have any means to build back up hope. And like there's three maps currently on Frostpunk. The first one is called New Home, and New Home includes a way to I'm sorry. New Home allows you to choose a way to build ways to increase hope. The last one is refugees, I think, which also includes a method to build up hope. Same ways that you do in a New Home. The middle game, though, the Arcs, does not include a way to build up hope, and so once I lost hope, the only mechanic left for me to build up hope was to fulfill promises made to my people through passing laws or things like that. And since I did not have access to the faith or control check lines, I only had the basic law tech lines, and so I had no real means to build up hope at that point. And I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like in this game, right? It's the end of the world. You people need to suck it up. We're almost there. I was 7 game days from the end of the game, and it looked like chances are the Arcs were going to survive, even if the nearby city that I was looking at was not going to survive. I just couldn't get enough steel to send them a shipment of steel, but the Arcs, which contained all of the plants, probably would have survived. They might not have. They were currently freezing when I lost, but I was in the process of researching upgraded heaters, which it was a race of the clock. Had the heaters been researched before they froze to death, then they would have been fine. So, alright, well, with that, I am going to go ahead and call it a day. So click like if you like, subscribe, share, and catch the next one. I will talk to you later.